All right, guys, so we're going to continue with category 4. Please make sure you write down all the notes. These are questions that have appeared in the past, okay? So please write down everything. It says the quadratic function is given below. Using a graph of the function, determine which statement is not true about that function. Okay, notice how they said using a graph. Well, there's your hint. Hey, you got to graph it, okay? As long as it says f of x, that means it's already on y equals. If it would have said equals 0, that's also ready for y equals. As long as everybody is together on one side, that quadratic is ready for the calculator. So you're going to go to y equals. You're going to type in your equation, x squared minus 5x minus 24. And you're going to try to prove some stuff, okay, either right or wrong. So for example, the axis of symmetry, is it 2.5? Well, I don't know. Let me see. And if it's not something that we can check right away, then we check the other answers. Okay, so for example, I think the axis of symmetry, I would have to go like this. Jump 1, 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 and then we're going to each jump halfway. It's going to be right here. And yes, 1, 2.5. That lands at 2.5. So this is actually a true statement. And I'm looking for not true. The zeros are -3 and 8, 0. -3 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So yeah, that's also true. The vertex is 2.5 and -25. And the y-intercept is 0, -24. The easiest thing for me to check there is the y-intercept because I can just press trace right here and it gives it to me. 0, -24. So guess what? This is true. Which process of elimination? That has to be the false one. Okay? Read each answer choice carefully. Look at the next one, 24. A quadratic function is shown below. Which statement does not describe a key attribute? Again, it's sort of like 23. They give you a quadratic function, and we've got to prove some of this stuff, okay? So I'm going to go to y equals. I'm going to type in my equation, 2x squared minus 7x minus 4. And I'm going to press graph, because remember the y-intercept, I can just press trace. After the graph comes up, I can press trace and it gives it to me right away. And there it is, 0, -4. I'm looking for does not. So this one is true. Okay. Now, x-intercepts. -0.5, 0. This is 1. Yeah, this is about -0.5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. That's also correct. Okay. Then the axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry, guys, is always going to be a Vux that goes right through the middle. A Vux. Vux. Okay, I keep saying that because Vux has equations that have to start with x equals. H is saying that the axis of symmetry starts with a y equals. No way. Y equals would be a horizontal line. Horizontal lines do not cut these in half. It's Vuxes. So already, this is the answer because I'm looking for not. Process of elimination, guys. All right, I'm going to skip around because I think 25 you had it for homework. Look at 26. I give you a function. What's the value of y when x is 2? You got two options. Either plug in that 2 wherever you see an x, or go to y equals, type in your equation, and go to the table. When x is 2, who's its partner? A 3. There it is. Go to 29. How does the parabola b, -3x squared, compare to parabola y equals x squared? How does this compare to that? Okay, well, if we're comparing, we might want to look at them. So negative 3x squared, that's parabola B. And then parabola A is just x squared. So I'm going to label them on my calculator. That's parabola B. And that's parabola A. Why do I want to do that? Because of the way the answer choices are mentioned. I'm going to get confused if I don't. The vertex of parabola B, so here's the vertex of parabola B, is 3 units below the x-axis. Is this point down here? No. The vertex of parabola B is 3 units to the left of the origin. Is it over here? No, it's right at 0, 0. Parabola B is wider than parabola A? No. Parabola B is narrower, yeah, it's skinnier than parabola A, and it opens downward. Yeah, it does. So you see how it's important to label them? Okay. 30. In the equation y equals 6x squared minus 19x plus 10, what is the value of x when y is 0? All right, if it's in y equals, train your brain that the y equals button is going to help you. And that's true for all quadratics pretty much. 6x squared minus 19x plus 10. I'm looking for x when y is 0, so I'm going to go to the table. They gave me the y. They said y is 0. Let's see if I can find a 0. Not that way, I don't know. Well, I can't find a 0 on the y. Okay, well let's talk about that. That means the reason why I can't find it is because the answer is probably one of the decimals. You see, because at 6, well, let me check negative 3. At negative 3, the y in 0. And at 6, the y in 0. So where does 0 land? 0 lands between 2 and 3. You see how there's a negative 4? Well, between there, it's supposed to be the 6, the 5, the 4, and so on, right? Well, I need the answer. So guess what? I'm going to go to the graph. Because when y is 0, that's an x-intercept. All x-intercepts have a 0 on the y. So this is just a fancy way of saying, hey, what's an x-intercept? So let me go to the graph. Maybe I can see it. And there you go. There is an x-intercept at like 0.5 and 1, 2, and there's an x-intercept at 2.5. So there it is. So notice it didn't stop me just because I didn't find it on the table. That just means I had to be one of the decimals, because remember, your table doesn't like to give you decimals on your x. Okay. Go to this one right here, number 32. The function x squared plus 5 is transformed by shifting each point up 4 units, which would be the equation of the new graph. If you have this graph and you move it up 4 units, okay, let's see. If I have x squared plus 5, and I'm going to move it up 4 units, so that means I'm going to take this point and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. The vertex should be over here. It was at 5, but if I move it up 4, that's going to be at 9. Okay, it's sort of like you're taking that y-intercept and you're adding 4 to it. So what are you going to end up with? You're going to end up with a 9. Okay, and I'll prove it by putting that answer choice on y2. And there it is. Okay. If I would have said down, I would be subtracting. Okay. 34. Which of the following is a 0? Remember 0? It just means x-intercept. So I take this and I graph it. That's it. Notice how a lot of this is just looking at your calculator. So on the day of the test, I'd be looking for all these quadratics and all of the ones that look like category 1 because they're all on the calculator. So I just put it there and I go to graph and I check to see, hey, where are they crossing the x-axis? Well, it's crossing it at a fraction because it didn't even get to a 1, right? And then over here it's crossing it at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, -7. So which one is there? The fraction, the positive fraction, or the -7? And it's the -7. They just wanted one of them. Okay, this one right here, number 36, I believe. So I give you a quadratic. In fact, they graph it for you. And then they're saying which statement is supported. So in other words, find something that's true about it. All right, is it true that the zeros, that the x-intercepts are 1/2 and 4? 1/2, yes. 4, no, because it's -4. The function has horizontal intercepts. Horizontal. Horizontal's this way. Intercepts. They're still talking about the x-intercepts. They just made it sound fancy. Is it -1/2? No, the 1/2 is on the positive side. The function has 0, -4, and 1/2. Yes. The function has 2 negative x-intercepts. Do both land on over here on the negative side? No, one's on the positive, one's on the negative. So your answer is C. 38. What are the zeros? Again, what are the x-intercepts? -1 and 1. That's how easy they are sometimes, guys. The next one, here's a quadratic. There's the model. Ignore the model. We never even had to use models. And what are the solutions? Remember, solutions is also just fancy for x-intercepts. So you graph it. X squared plus 2x minus 8. Graph. -4 and 2. So it's B. Make sure you pause this and go at your own pace. You just have to make sure you understand these questions and you write all the notes. Here's the graph. They even graphed it, but now you're looking for not supported, so something that is not true, right? The function has zeros 1/2 and 1.5. 1/2 and 1.5. Yeah, that's true. The function has horizontal intercepts of 1/2 and, yeah, remember, zeros and horizontal intercepts is the same thing. They're still talking about the x-intercepts, so that's also true. The function has zeros, 1/2, and negative. No, it didn't cross at the -1.5. It didn't cross here, so that's false. The function has 2 positive x-intercepts. Yes, it does. They both landed here, so the false one is C. Number 40, what are the zeros? -2 and -8. That's where it's crossing the x-axis. Zeros just means x-intercepts. All right. Here we go. Here's a graph. Again, find something that is true. The graph has a maximum point. First of all, when it opens upward like that, and you're walking, and you fall, that's not a maximum. You're at the lowest point. This is a minimum. So this word makes this false. I don't care that it's the right numbers, -4, -4. The fact that they called it a maximum and it's a minimum, that's false. And I'm looking for true. The y-axis is a line of symmetry. The y-axis is the one cutting it perfectly in half? No, no way. The graph has an x-intercept between 0 and -1. So here's 0 and here's -1. Does my graph go through here? No. The graph has an x-intercept that is less than -5. Less than -6. If you're less than -6, that means worse. That means more negative. Is there an x-intercept that is more on the negatives past the 6? Yeah, it's like -6.5. So that's true. Read carefully. They're easy questions, but you can get confused if you're not reading carefully. Here's the graph. Find the solutions. Find the x-intercepts. Well, I don't even need to graph it because it's already there. Where are you crossing it? At -2 and 2. Okay. And then finally, look at the kind of griddable that they can give you. It says the owner of a resale shop is analyzing the revenue for the year. Profit is modeled by the function P of X, or Y equals X squared minus 14X plus 485, where P of X, so the answer right here, represents the profit, and X represents the number of items sold. How many must he sell in order to profit 500? The profit is the P of X. You see here it says P of X represents profit. Profit is the answer. The answer. The Y. So they're basically telling you, hey, the Y is 500. You find the X. Okay. Well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to type my equation, X squared minus 14X plus 485, and I'm going to go to the table. I know that the Y is 500. Oh, it's right there. But wait a minute. How many items can you sell? Can I sell -1 items? That doesn't make sense. But a lot of students are going to put that. This is a word problem, so it's got to make sense. There's got to be another one that equals 500. There we go. So how many items do we have to sell? 15. So be very careful there. If it is a word problem, the answer must make sense. Okay? So these were all the questions that I wanted you to continue. Tomorrow, we will do some more. Okay? See you tomorrow.